Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos on lesson content.
Got no place to be, got no place to go. Come hang out with me on the Mr. Flanders Show.
Morning, guys. Mr. Flanders here with lesson 113 from our Saxon Math. Same rules apply like from our last lesson. Do not worry about the measurement of the line up here or the measurement of the line right here. I know not everybody has a ruler at home, so I've taken care of the measurements that happen later on in this lesson. But for now, do not worry about this. With that being said, best thing for us to do right now is just jump right into number one and get this going. So let's take a look. Number one, it looks like it's going to be a graph question. I know this because of this lovely graph here. But if you notice, none of the graph is filled in. So we have to fill in the graph. Let's take a look at the question. The children in Mrs. Afanito's class chose their favorite fruits. 8 children chose bananas. 15 children chose oranges. And 7 children chose apples. Color the graph to show how many children chose each type of fruit. Alright, so that's the first part of the question. Well, let's go ahead and start with bananas. Alright, it says 8 children chose bananas. Alright, so we'll find the number 8 right here on the graph. Our banana column is right here. We're going to color this in, color this in, color this in, and color this to the number 8 line. Okay, so that shows 2, 4, 6, 8 people liked bananas. Alright, let's move on to the next fruit. It says 15 children chose oranges. Now if you'll notice, the graph is counting by 2s. There is no 15 on our graph. So what we're going to do is when we get to a certain square, we're only going to color that half of the square in to show 15. So we're going to do, let's see, was it 15? It was 15. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Now, this is the square right here we're going to only color half of. So I'm going to even split it in half just like that and color that side. That shows 15 people chose oranges. And then our last fruit is apples. And it says 7 children. Right here, 7 children chose apples. Now again, there is no 7 here on the graph, so there's another square that I'm going to have to cut in half to show 7. So let's start. 2, 4, 6. Alright, we're going to put right here our line, and there's 7. Okay? Remember, when working with these kinds of graphs, and you see a number that's not on your graph, make sure you don't have to split your square in half or your graph in half or whatever that might pop up. That is for that part of the graph, though. Now, for the second half of number 1, it says, write a question for the graph. Well, I know I can't hear you guys right now, so it's going to be hard to hear what you guys want to ask about the graph. But I guess my question would be, why didn't anybody choose cherries? But it's not really about the graph, I guess. I mean, that's just personal preference. So let's look at the graph. I guess we could ask why they counted by 2s. So let's go ahead and write, why does the graph count by 2s. There's my question mark. And I can even answer that question for you right now, too. They count by 2s because it is a good way to measure something. That's what a graph does. It measures something. All right. Take a second. Finish that up. And remember, at any given point, if you need to pause the video to finish up a question, or if you even need to rewind the video to hear a question again or get an answer again, please feel free to do that. I will not be offended because it's just a video of me. All right? So let's go ahead and then move up this worksheet to move on to number 2. Ah, my goodness. All right, here we go. We got question 2 and 3 on the screen right now. Okay. So, question 2 and 3. Question 2, about how much might the lunchbox of a child in your classroom weigh? Well, I know we haven't talked about weight too much, but right now it's asking us how heavy something might be. Now, a good way to measure weight is by picking something up or by moving something. If something takes a lot of effort to move and it just like pulls your arms down, that might mean it's something that's really heavy. But if it's something that could be easily picked up, could be easily moved, could be easily thrown, that might be a little bit lighter. One thing to keep in mind too, if you notice, you've got some pretty interesting numbers here. You've got 200 pounds, 4 pounds, 100 pounds, and 40 pounds. Okay? The higher the number, the more it's going to weigh, the heavier it's going to be. So, we're talking about a lunchbox here. And I'm going to tell you right now, in all of my experience as a teacher and a former student, I have never ever dealt with a 200-pound lunchbox. Didn't happen, probably won't happen. A 4-pound lunchbox, that's possible. That's possible. Let's see what our other choices are. 100 pounds. Again, way too heavy, okay? That number is super big, means it's super high, super heavy. Not happening. And then 40 pounds. No. I've never dealt with a lunchbox that is 40 pounds. So our best and most logical choice would be 4 pounds. We're just going to circle that. Boop. Okay. Move this screen up a little bit more. Okay. By the way, guys, this is a reminder. In my last video that I did, Jensen was sleeping in his room, so I wasn't working at my table that I set up in there. I am currently working at my kitchen table, so I've only got a little bit of space. So I'm moving stuff around as much as I can to try to get the video to fit properly where it needs to be. Alright, let's go ahead and look at number 3. It says, let's get that over just a little bit. There we go. It says, measure each side of this shape using centimeters. Well, again, I don't expect you guys to have a ruler at home, and I'm not going to ask you to go out and get one right now, just because I want you guys to stay at home, stay safe. So, I've done the measurements for you. It's going to ask us how long a vertical line segment is on here. Now, if you remember, the vertical line segment is the line that goes up and down. The oblique line, that's what it asks right here. How long is the oblique line? The oblique line is the line that goes at an angle. And then the horizontal line is the line that goes across, left to right. Okay? So, I have measured each line before the video started. And so I know that the vertical line is 3 centimeters. I know that the oblique line is 5 centimeters. And then I know that the horizontal line segment is 4 centimeters. Now, the next part of this question asks, what is the perimeter? Okay, so if you remember from our last lesson and some other lessons that we did before spring break, perimeter is when you add all of the sides together. So we are dealing with 3, 5, and 4. We need to add those up. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to write 3, 5, and 4, and plus right here. So let's start with 3 plus 5. That is 8. And then 8 plus 4 is what? Do you guys know? 8 plus 4 is 12. So we now know that the perimeter of this triangle is 12 centimeters. You have to write cm because that means centimeters. Okay? Let's go ahead and jump over to number 4. Move this up a little bit so you guys can see. All right. Number 4 is dealing with time. I know we were dealing with time pretty heavily in class before we went on spring break. Unfortunately, I do not have my clock in front of me right now, and the virtual clock I was trying to pull up to work with has not been working. So we're just going to make do with what we got right now. Number 4 says, it's dark outside. And what time is it? So, before we even look at this clock, don't look at the clock. Don't look at that. Okay? If it is dark outside, it's most likely going to be evening or night. So is that going to be AM or PM? I want you to really think about that. Remember, AM is the morning, PM is the afternoon and night. So, if it's dark outside, it's most likely night. That means it's going to be PM. We're going to write PM right here at the end. Okay. Now, let's deal with what time it is. If you'll notice, our hour hand, which is our shorthand, is pointing between 11 and 12. So, is it going to be 11 or is it going to be 12? Well, since the hour hand is not at the 12 yet, we are still in the 11 o'clock hour. So we're going to start writing our time with 11. And then our minute hand is pointing at one of the little lines. You can see it right there. Now, if you remember, I told you those little lines represent 1. It's like we're counting by 1. So, let's see. Before we can figure that out, though, we need to figure out if we're in the 20-minute frame, or the 30-minute frame, the 40-minute frame. So we do that. If you guys remember, with a minute hand, it makes us count by 5s every time we see one of these big numbers. So since we're dealing with minutes, let's go ahead and do that. 5, 10, 15, 20. So we're pretty close to our minute hand now. So let's go ahead and start counting by 1s. So we're at 20 here. 21, 22. So our time frame is 11:22. Okay? And since it is dark outside, it is evening, it is PM. Okay? Take a moment to finish that up, please. I'm going to go ahead and move up the sheet while you're doing that. Don't worry, I can't erase anything. It's not like it's the whiteboard in class. Alright, let's see. Here we go. Alright, I got 5 and 6 on the screen. Excuse me. Now, for number 5, we are using comparison symbols. Alright, we've done this a lot in class. Remember, we are trying to find the number that is bigger or equal. We can do this as Pac-Man if you guys want. We can do this as Chain Chomp if you guys want. An alligator. It's entirely up to you however you want to do it at home. I think I am going to do Chain Chomp from Mario. Let's take a look at it. Alright, 35 and 53. Well, let's think. Would I want 35 pieces of candy or 53 pieces of candy? Which is the bigger number? 53. So I'm going to make my little Chain Chomp. to go and get that 53. I'm going to give him an eye right here. I'm going to give him a little chain because his name is Chain Chomp. Boom. All right. Oh, and his teeth. We need his teeth. Okay, there we go. That looks creepy. Okay. Second part. Uh-oh. It looks like we actually have to add some stuff together and multiply some stuff together to figure out the numbers. Well, let's see. 8 plus 37. That is 45. And then we've got 9 times 5. That is also 45. So, which number is bigger? They are equal. They are not bigger than one another. Boop, boop. Good work, my friends. All right, moving on to the last question of number 5. We've got 16 take away 7 and 14 take away 6. Well, I can tell you right now that 16 take away 7 is 9, and 14 take away 6, that is 8. So, which number is bigger? The 9 is bigger. So, I'm going to make my Chain Chomp here. Give him his little eye. Give him his teeth. That's my horrible Chain Chomp sound. There we go. Alright. So, Chain Chomp is going to eat the 9 because he'd much rather have 9 pieces of pizza than 8. Alright. Looking at our last set of questions for this worksheet, you'll notice we have to set up the math problems. So it gives us the numbers here, and then it gives us our area to work. So we're going to start with 59 plus 87. We're going to do 59, 87. Alright, there we go. So we're going to start on our right side, on this side. Okay, we've got 9 plus 7 is 16. So we're going to put that 6 there. We're going to regroup the 10 from the 16. Okay. So now we've got 1 plus 5 plus 8. Well, we know 5 plus 8 is 13. So what is 13 plus that 1? 13 plus 1 is 14. So we know now that 59 plus 87 is 146. Alright, now let's look at 74 take away 28. I'm going to frame it. I'm going to write it here. 74, 28. Now, we're going to start on our right side. 4 take away 8. Well, if I have 4 pieces of candy, can I take 8 of those away? No, I can't. So we're going to have to regroup. We're going to take 1 away from this 7 here. Oh, what am I doing? Not adding that. We're going to 6, and then we're going to take that 1 and put it with the 4. So now it's 14. Okay? So 14 take away 8. That is 6. And now we're left with 6 take away 2. Well, what is 6 take away 2? 4. Alright. And then that is the end of that question. We now know that 74 take away 28 is 46. And now we can move on to our last question of the worksheet. Okay. 291 plus 487. I'm going to go ahead and write that now. 291 plus 487. Okay. plus 7 is 8. 9 plus 8 is 17. And then we're going to carry the 10, or regroup that 10. And then we now have 1 plus 2 plus 4. Well, let's start with the 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. Now 6 plus 1 is 7. So we now know that 291 plus 487 is 778. All right, good work on that one, guys. That one had a lot of math problems on there. Whew. All right, normal classroom rules apply, my friends. A side was for here. B side is for homework. All right, so I want to see you guys work on B side on your own. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out to me or have your parents reach out to me on Dojo. Otherwise, I know you guys can do this. I believe in you guys, and I can't wait to see the amazing work that you do. For now, I'm going to end this lesson. I will catch you all in the next one, which is about multiplication. Yeah! See you guys in a bit. Hey guys, Mr. Flanders here, and we are jumping into the next part of lesson 113, and this is our multiplication worksheet. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole thing with you, because you guys know these are the worksheets you normally do on your own, but I'm going to give you guys a couple reminders as we get started with it. I'll work through a couple of the problems with you too, but then you're on your own. And this is an A side and a B side worksheet, so you have to do both sides. All right, so for multiplication, remember, it is asking you about groups. So, for example, 5 times 2. If you watched the video that I did about mixed numbers and multiplication, you'd know that this is the number that I used as my example. So, for 5 times 2, it's asking you for 2 groups of 5, or 5 groups of 2, however you want to look at it. But for example, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 2 groups of 5. So what would that answer be? Well, let's go ahead and count them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 5 times 2 is 10. That's right. Okay, and if you don't want to write out groups like that every time that you do a math problem, that is absolutely fine. Remember, you can also use your fingers to just count by 5s. Best way to do that, let's take a look at 5 times 5. Okay, I don't need to write out the groups like I did over here. I can hold up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 fingers, okay? Oh my goodness, see? And that way I can just count by 5s doing that. So, for example, I'm going to put 5 fingers right here. Get the thumb in there. There we go. Okay. So, each finger is going to be 5, all right? And we're just going to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So, we know now that 5 times 5 is 25. Okay? Another way that you guys could do this as well is just make a 5's number line, like this. Okay? I'm not going to make a whole huge number line, but you could do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I'm just going to write like the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then underneath each number, I'm going to write a number that you would use to count by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, so 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. And then 5 times 5 is 25. And that matches just right there. Okay, and just to make sure you're seeing that number 5, you could do that right there. You do an X. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, and you can just keep that going. Let's go ahead and look at this next one right here. 5 times 8. Well, let's see, we've got 6, we do 30. We'll use the number line for this one, guys. 35 and then 8. So, if I'm using my number line, I'm going to figure out 5 times 8 by going all the way down the number line. So I've got 5 times 8 equals 40. Okay? The number line can get a little bit confusing though, so I'd say only use that if you feel really comfortable. Otherwise, just try to use your fingers or groups to count by 5. And 2 things I want you to remember. Okay, and I'm even going to move the worksheet for this one to show you guys this one. Okay. 2 of the math problems that are going to get you, and I see this happen a lot. 5 times 1. So instead of just trying to do 5 times 1, you guys will add that 1 and make it 6. It's not the right answer. 5 times 1 is always going to be 5 because it's asking you for one group of 5. So that would just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My one group is right there. So my one group is just going to be 5. Okay? Another thing that I see my friends do, and I'm going to jump down to this 5 times 0 question right here. Okay? A lot of my friends will also try to add the 0. Okay? Remember, 0 is nothing. You can't do anything with it. So you can't add it, you can't subtract it, you can't multiply it. So 5 times 0 would just be 0 because you have no groups of 5. You have 0 groups of 5. Okay? That's all I'm going to say on that for now. I want you guys to go through this and do your best work. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let your parents know, let me know. I know multiplication is still a pretty new idea for us. So if you're struggling with it a little bit, that's okay. I don't expect everybody to get 100% on this. I just expect you to do your best and try your best. Okay? That's all I want you guys to do. With that being said, this worksheet does appear twice in your packet for this week, but you'll notice that one is going to say 113A. The other one is going to say 114A, and that's because that's a part of another math lesson. But the worksheets are the same. Okay, all the questions are the same on A side and B side. That does not mean copy the answers from this worksheet, though, onto the next one. Okay? Other than that, that is our multiplication for now. I hope everybody's staying safe. I miss you guys so much. I wish we were doing this in class. But, you know, we're dealing with the hand that we're dealt, and I think we're all doing pretty good with it. For now, I'm going to get going, and I will see you all in the next lesson. Stay safe.